I am sitting in what is obviously really the star of Geneva 2019, and it is fully electric, which is why I'm talking to you about it. It is the Pininfarina Battista hyper car, and I'm going to get out of it as carefully as I can, but it's never easy to get out of a hypercar, even when you're as young as me. This is absolutely stunning. We're talking about 1900 horsepower, 1696 pounds-feet of torque. They've just pulled the covers off it and let us onto the revolving turntable, so I'm going to rattle through the spec because it is mind-boggling. 0 to 62 in less than 2 seconds. The underpinnings of this car, some of the carbon monocoque and all the high voltage is from Rimac. We know what Rimac is capable of. Rimac is an amazing company that's now part owned by Porsche, 10% owned by Porsche, and selling technology into a lot of cars, including Koenigsegg's. But the design of this, they've never actually made their own car until now. This is a four-wheel drive, two 450 kilowatt motors on the back, one on each corner, two 250 kilowatt motors on the front. We are dealing with 800 volts. In fact, I was just talking to one of the heads of tech on this project, Christian Jung, a German chap, who prior to coming to Pininfarina in September 2018, he worked for Porsche, co-developing the 800 volt system. And before that, he was at Faraday Future. So he knows what he's doing. So this is a very exciting car. They're going to make 150 of them. They've already sold half of them apparently when this car was unveiled at Pebble Beach and shown at Pebble Beach. So including Nico Rosberg, our friend Nico Rosberg, who does like his zero emission muscle. Just look at it though. It's actually, for a hypercar, quite restrained in that way that it's sort of largely styled in the wind tunnel and doesn't have too many mad spoilers and lips on it. Got this amazing crease, which is the designer's favourite. It starts just underneath its eyelid here and then goes from here all the way up here. Goes into this sharp crease. It's amazing. Tunnels in to where there's an air intake down in there that's very deep, look, that deep. And then you've got this amazing fin here. Goes in, tapers in, and then you've got this raising spoiler. This spoiler can go down flush with the rear and it can act as an air brake as and when. You're dealing with nearly 2,000 horsepower. They reckon that it could be even more, but obviously you're then down to the constrictions of the Pirelli P0 tyres, who's their tyre partner on this. And if you remember, of all the supercars evolved, they were always restricted by their rubber. This here is a glass tailgate which can electronically lift, and you can see behind the glass there you've got some bespoke luggage, so it can carry some luggage. There's no frunk, there's no fruit, whatever you want to call it. That's all parts of the high voltage gubbins. Talking of which, if you remember from last Geneva show when I had a great chat with Marte Rimac, the underpinnings of this car is the same as the C2. So you have a spine on the centre console, and across behind the occupants' heads is where all the batteries and all the cells and the inverters and stuff are. So that's the bulk of it. Now this car does weigh a shade over 2 tons. They're trying to bring that down. But when you've got that kind of power, and even though it's made of composites, it's nearly all carbon fibre apart from some of the crash structure apparently, which might be aluminium. It's still devastatingly quick. I mean, I'm still looking at some of these things. 186 miles an hour in less than 12 seconds. So 0 to 186 miles an hour in less than 12 seconds. 120 kilowatt hour battery pack, 300 mile range, 80% charge in 40 minutes. This is an exciting time because this isn't a concept, this is actually going into production. They're starting production, according to Christian. The production begins right at the end of 2020. It's going to take 3 years to build all 150 cars, so 50 cars per year. Pininfarina Automobili and Pininfarina is split into 2 companies. One's in Italy, one's in Munich. A lot of the R&D is done in Munich, but the full build of the car will be done in Italy. They are saying this is the most powerful car to ever come out of Italy. Maybe that's how I should have started this video. This is the most powerful car to ever come out of Italy. That's a bold statement given that Lamborghini, Ferrari and many, many beautiful other vehicles have come out of Italy. You're now going to ask me, well, if you're using the guts of a Rimac C2, why is this better than a C2? Well, it's not necessarily better, it's different. Pininfarina is a design house. Pininfarina have designed the body specifically, and this car has been retuned. It's torque vectoring and it's software. There's a car alarm, someone's trying to steal a car from a car show. It happens. Whereas the Rimac car is apparently a track-focused car, the Pininfarina Battista is a GT, so in other words a car with a level of comfort, and they're going to be able to modulate the software and the torque vectoring so that it's devastatingly quick if you want it to be, but it's also a better car to travel longer distances in rather than it being more of a track-focused weapon. And that's reflected probably when you go inside. Let's go back inside. Come on. Oh, there's the charging port, by the way. So under this glass tailgate, you've got the F, the Pininfarina sign. That's your charging port. 800 volts, like I said before. So the ability to rapid charge at 350 kilowatts is right there. In here, you've got these two screens either side of the, well, it's not a circular steering wheel. I don't know what shape this is. How many sides has this got? 1, 2, 3, 4... It's like a weird hexagon carbon thing. A lot of carbon, obviously, because the body is carbon. The chassis is mostly carbon. You've got a rotary dial here, which goes from drive to reverse to neutral, etc., with some paddles up here. It's actually very simple, in the same way that I remember the Rimac C2 as being quite simple. Beautifully executed, but simple. You've got this sculpted centre console that sort of fits the elbow of the driver, really. Yeah, it's 2 seats. Yes, it's got crazy kind of butterfly doors. You've even got a dial on the door. So when this comes down, this is obviously telling you about your different functions and how much power you're using. This is a functioning car that I'm sat in, by the way. They're saying it is a sort of final concept, but it is a fully functional car. But one that isn't being used hard for R&D because they're trying to keep it pretty for customers. But they've got 3 cars here today, Pininfarina. They've unveiled this car and they've brought 3. This is the only one with the finished interior though. The world of EVs has suddenly got devastatingly expensive and devastatingly quick. This is a £2 million car, and like I say, out of the 150 that they're going to build, they've already sold half of them, or they've had pre-orders. I'm going to see if Nico Rosberg will let me have a go in his. Do you reckon, Nick? Yeah?